been taking my time. I feel like I'm out of my mind.
Welcome back. This is Project Mayday with Bree
and G.
And this is part 2 of Pranay Manghirmalani, who has just come back from the retreat.
And let's go right into it, man. I mean, back at your first video, I mean, it was dark. You were in a hotel. Dark circles under your eyes. Like, it was a whole situation. And now we got a fresh cut. We're looking good nowadays. And so,
sure, absolutely.
Yeah, and so let's just dive right into it, man. Like, how you feeling coming out of going to that retreat back in Colorado, right? It was in Colorado?
Yeah, just south of Denver.
Yeah, so, tell us all about
it. Going back, definitely in a darkest spot I've ever been in my life, hands down, looking back at all the different things that happened. But it was good. It was life-changing. I thank definitely my union for sending me out there, for giving me that opportunity. So definitely owe my life to my employment for sure. I think without that, who knows where I would have been now, or I would still even been around on this planet. But it was amazing. I learned a lot of skills. There's a lot of things that I had to get off my chest from childhood trauma, which I think is huge, and then ever since present day, from my love life or whatever, that also added to that. That was kind of that tipping point why I ended up going over there. So calls, et cetera. But we worked a lot, one-on-one. It was a great treatment. Kind of put my phone away for a week and went to class every day. Essentially, what it was, just one-on-one with a therapist, a doctor who just specializes in like the EMDR, the rapid eye movement. And, just focus from day one, essentially, from my childhood life to current, what am I doing in my adult life? So definitely an intrusive experience. But I'm glad I did it.
So what would you say is different about you now than it was before?
A lot of things. I believe, spiritually, I got a little bit closer to my God, who I believe, but just that spiritual aspect of, there's no such thing as really mistakes in life. There's just opportunities to get better and get well. And if you learn from them, and hopefully you don't make those mistakes over again. And if you do, you bounce back and be more resilient from them. Also, just focusing more on that self-love and self-healing. It's always been a difficult part with me with relationships, trying to, one doesn't work out, bounce out into another one, where you really got to fix yourself first and focus on that energy so you can give that other person 100%. So a lot about that, and just realizing the biggest word I learned was, worthiness. That was an issue that I had ever as a child. I never felt worthy, coming from an abusive, father. Trying to figure out a father figure through my young adulthood to now where I'm at, being 30. So trying to figure that out was a big thing, but worthiness.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can definitely resonate with that. Worthiness for sure. I mean, for myself as well. That was a big thing when, I went through therapy, was talking about why I felt not worthy. So no, definitely hear you on that. There's also been career change for you, not really career, but position change for you as well. Since the last time we spoke, you were a fireman, firefighter 1, and now you've became a full-time engineer. So talk about that kind of transition. How do you feel? What's some of the stressors? Is there more stress? Where are you at?
Yeah. God was definitely good with that. I thank him for everything, even getting through the state academy. But yeah, it was awesome. I think it was time that I was definitely hesitant now being a supervisory position, having lives underneath me, not just riding backwards, putting the fire out, doing the patient care. It's a little bit different now, obviously being in charge of this apparatus and $500,000 of stuff and life, no price tag on that by any means. But it was time for me that I was like, I didn't master the art of being a fireman by any means at all. However, I just felt that I wanted a different challenge. So I did it for quite a number of years and took the test, all that process, and was fortunate enough to get that. So yeah, it's a different stress for sure. I'm thinking a little bit bigger than just, right to fight, left to live, put water on the fire, and that's it.
Now you gotta know knobs and pressures, and you gotta know elevation and.
Yeah, and especially with Cal Fire, where it's not an engineer's in a traditional apartment where you're just pumping and driving, smoking a cigar on the way to that working fire. It's I'm in charge of being a company officer, so essentially I'm like junior grade captain, for lack of better terms. So it's like paperwork, HR issues, timesheets.
Yeah, let's rewind a little bit and go back to Denver here. What were some, I guess, tools that you took away from there? So if someone listening is hesitant of going, but wants to try it, and listening to you talking about some tips, what can you tell that person?
Biggest tools is having people to talk to. A lot of people don't have people to talk to in this world, and that's the biggest thing for me. It's like, I'm a talker. I hate when people text me. I'd rather just call on the phone already and be like, hey, talk about a cool, awesome goodbye. And fortunately, there are people who I could talk to, and I think that's the biggest thing is having somebody with a receptive ear who's not just like, yeah, awesome, or yes or no, but actually like engaging with you and actually asking questions. I think that's huge. So being in the fire service and the military side of it, just sitting down. And I think that communication is huge, but also setting boundaries as well, even just with, relationships. But what are your boundaries? How far do you want to go? It's totally okay. If this job is not for you, I'd rather have you quit now and focus on something else that you'd be good at, because it's definitely not for everyone. But understanding that it's not your fault. As coarse as it sounds, they always preach that to you in fire academies and EMT school, medic school. Hey, it's not your emergency. And I always thought that I was like, that's kind of bullshit. We're here for a reason. I want to do that. But at the end of the day, it's like you were trying your best to be there for their problem. And if it didn't work out how you wanted to, did you do something wrong? No. Did you try your hardest? Yeah. Then that's all you can do. And you got to go to sleep knowing that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't. I always second guessed everything. Still do at times, but it's the resiliency part of it. I just got to bounce out of it for sure.
Mm.
Yeah. So what do you do now? What tools do you use now to decompress?
So I learned, so also in that Cal Fire State Academy, we've kind of been implementing a lot of different, the academy staff in the state of California has been implementing yoga and meditation, box breathing. And I think that's huge. So that's what I've been doing a lot. Just realizing a lot of good stretching, simple stuff like a little lacrosse ball. You could take off your socks at night and put that lacrosse ball on the ground and just rub your soles of your feet on there, and just actually learning about your body more and more, and understanding that it is going to be a stressful job. It's not going to get any easier. The higher you go, different stress factors are going to be there. That'll never go away. However, you got to protect yourself and protect your body from that. So yoga and meditation. The biggest thing too is like putting my phone away. I'm notorious at that. Like, hey, let's go on Instagram, let's go on Facebook, let's go on YouTube, let's see what's going on right before you go to bed. And if those fake, ultraviolet lights coming at you, the fluorescent colors, and just putting on white noise or like listening to ocean waves, things like that. That's something I've been doing. And it sounds weird, and when people told me all these different things about, hey, this is just the foo-foo stuff and this is weird. I think that generation of firemen have definitely been retiring, and those who haven't have been becoming, a force in a way to actually embrace this. And you even see it at the academy. Some of the old school academy staff are like, yeah, go do your, fun little yoga stuff, and you come down to the fire ground and learn how to be a fireman. So, well, I get that, but I don't want to be like you on my 9th wife as an alcoholic. It's just not what I want to do. Mm-hmm. And those are factors that we got to look at, and I realize, hey, it's getting worse and worse, right? Everyone knows that we got the worst fire seasons ever. Nothing's getting better. More and more people are dying. More and more homes are burning down. So, box breathing, yoga, meditation. And they're easy. There's apps for everything, right? There's apps for that. That's like when I started looking at these different apps. And now actually learning in the academy, we actually do it. And it was awesome. For PT one day, it was just, hey, we're going to lay in the mat room with our eyes closed. And someone read some meditation, story all through, and that totally zenned us out right before a big final exam. And it was good. It was good.
That's awesome. Wow. Yeah. I went through that academy that you went through, 2 years before you did, and we didn't have that. So that's awesome that it's changing. That they're adapting with being a big department that they are. That's awesome. I mean, you just physically. I mean, just look at you now, man.
Yeah.
You're looking thinner. You're looking more fit than the last video. Are you keeping up on that too, or was that just something from the academy?
So it was probably a little bit from the academy for sure. Yeah, just like anything, But no, I mean, I think right before the academy too. That's something I've always trying to be better. I always struggle too, right? Staying in fit, it's always been hard, whether it's genetics or my eating habits, like anything. But, no, yeah, man, the gym, the normal stuff, running, lifting weights, all that. Yeah. Just, formulating the workouts that's good for my body, not just busting out arm days every single day. But, everyone's different as well. And that's something I got to realize that I might not be able to hike, 20 miles like everybody else. So that 18-year-old seasonal firefighter one that we just hired. But realizing that everyone's different as well. And I think that's something I struggled with, was always trying to keep up with that guy, when in fact, like, it's okay if you have, that 8-minute mile and you have a 9-minute mile or whatever, that job, because everyone's different.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's key to it too. Huge stress factor, stay off the booze, big one, be 100% sober, do what you need to do. Or if you need to, that's your choice. But, I was abusing that a lot. A lot.
Yeah. And, from the last time we spoke, that was a big thing, was the alcohol. And then also you were in a, not a great relationship either, as far as, your partner in life. So how are we doing with that?
Relationship wise?
Yeah.
Still single Pringle over here. Yeah. When it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And, there's been some ups and downs just recently at the time of this video. I think my heart's definitely with someone. We just got to figure out if she's in that same boat. But realizing my relationship with God is a lot more stronger now, and realizing that it's kind of looking at my generation. I think it's harder and harder. I always tell people I should have been born in the 50s. Feel like that. Those old schools. I'm just. The mentality of wife, kids, and things like that. So we'll see what happens. I think he's going to put a woman in my area, and that energy is huge for me. Finding someone with that same energy, and when that happens, that happens. So I'm not going to rush it anymore. I think it's been an issue. So I was trying to push it, and I was like, when it happens, it happens. So
that's awesome.
Pranay, I love your change in perspective. I mean, we just hit on a lot of hard subjects when before, it was very uncomfortable, and right now you're very optimistic. You're very transparent. Even your body language is completely different from this transition of making yourself a really, your number one priority, which I think is the point, right? That's what we're talking about, is even though it can be nerve-wracking, all the stigmas that happen. Are you a real fireman? You're doing meditation. But at the end of the day, I mean, look at the results. The results are you are worthy. And even though you struggled with that in the past, it's so transparent right now that you are completely in a different place. Very healthy, happy, optimistic. And that leads to a really long career, especially after even your promotion, which is what it's about, right? Is finding your best life and your calling. What would you say to someone who is hesitant to going into something like this, a retreat that can be very intimidating?
Go for it. Just go. You know what? I take that back. I said, go when you're ready. And I think that it's hard because a lot of people, I don't want to be I went on this on my own. It was, highly suggested for sure, talking to our, employee support services battalion chief who just focuses on firefighters like this throughout the state who are going through, emotional trauma. But, I believe that go when you're ready. You can't force anybody to go to any addiction therapy or any retreats, but the resources are out there. And I think it's more than just going to the urinal and looking above on the little board of it and be like, what is this? And guys are writing, smiley faces and whatever on it. And then you look at it and you're like, oh, ESS, what the hell is that? But actually, we talk about it. And I think that as a new supervisor, that's one of my goals is, hey, the 10 new 18-year-old firefighter wants, hey, let's do a hose lane, lines, throw SCBAs, whatever they are. you know what? No, today we're going to pour a cup of coffee. We're going to sit on the table and we're going to talk about mental health. And I think that's absolutely important, that we need to stop having, it's okay for us to go to the VA and the military aspect for, physical therapy, and we go through PTSD, but we should make it 100% okay. Like, the VA should focus more on mental health, because that's absolutely detrimental to all of us if you don't get that focus. I mean, we focus so much on physical stuff, absolutely. Let's focus on the mental stuff as well.
Yeah, no, you said it beautifully, man. And I couldn't agree more. Where all those problems the world's problems get solved at the firehouse table. It's like, why don't we pour that cup of coffee and talk about our problems, and solve our problems rather than solving the world's problems, right? And I think that's beautifully said, how you put it there. So now it's time for rapid fire. I know you're an engineer now. You don't get to go You don't get to go to fire much. You're just outside. So yeah. So now let's get you in the fire again. So rapid fire. Bree's gonna ask you 5 questions, and you got to answer in one word or one phrase. All right.
Go.
All right. First question: if you had a theme song for your life, which theme song would you choose?
In the Club by 50 Cent.
I love that song still.
That was really fast. Okay. Number 2, what is your favorite cigar?
Favorite cigar? Oh, that's going to be a Drew Estate number 9. Drew Estate.
Okay.
Number 9.
Drew Estate number 9. All right.
G's going to go buy one.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3, what was your favorite cartoon to watch as a child?
Oh, Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
Number 4, what would your preferred superpower be if you got to choose it?
Fly.
Ooh, that's a good one.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. And last question. What is one word to describe your mental health today?
Beautiful.
Ooh, that's awesome. That is beautiful, man. And Pranay, man, just seeing you now, it gets me all excited. I can't wait to end this and talk more. It's amazing to see the transition. I mean, it's night and day, man, brother. And I hope you the best, and keep calling me. I know we text, and then you call me right away. I'm just like, why is this dude calling me right now?
That's what G does to us, so I get it.
But I absolutely understand that you love talking, and I love talking to you, and myself and Bree do. So again, brother, thank you so much for coming on. You are absolute inspiration, man. I hope people listening absolutely take your advice and go.
No, I appreciate it. And I posted something just on my Instagram too the other day about we hire those firefighter ones, and I try to get back. And same thing, if anybody's ever interested, I'm always asking for it. Find me on Instagram, and it may be a couple days till I get back at you. But if I can be there for you, because the other firemen put me in this position to get better, I can only owe it back. And hopefully that individual owes it back too, and gets his wheel spinning. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, beautifully said. All right, guys, this is Project Mayday. Call out.
All out.
I finally